Hi everyone, welcome to the Tech Happy Hour. I'm Sierra Madro. This week we're talking about new stuff, and more specifically, what I generally refer to as Upgraditis. It's a serious disease and it is actually contagious. Now, I am particularly susceptible to Upgraditis, and we know this because of how much time I just spent this morning talking about the iPhone announcements. So, for those of you who maybe are not obsessively involved in the world of Apple the way I have been, on Tuesday from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time, Apple announced a whole series of products. Now, I have an entire other video that talks about exactly what was in the announcements. That's not the important part here. The important part is that as soon as Apple made those announcements, thousands, probably millions of people said, "Oh my goodness, I need a brand new iPhone, Apple Watch, Apple TV, charging station. I need all new stuff because obviously there's a newer, better, greater thing available." Now, what people aren't really looking at is whether they need it. And I know in our world it's a little unexpected to talk about what you actually need versus what you want. But as a business person, and specifically as someone who is involved in technology, I understand that you don't necessarily have to upgrade every single time a new thing comes out. Now, I get a pass. I'm giving it to myself. I get a pass because it literally is my job. So upgrading for me is a matter of keeping current and looking at the trends so that I can actually help you as you're working on what's coming. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to upgrade every time. And I am right now officially giving you permission to not upgrade anything you don't want to upgrade. So Apple has announced new iPhones, Samsung has announced new phones, and the Christmas season is coming upon us when there's a whole host of different technology devices and other things that will get announced and released, and chances are at least some of them you're going to want. But I'm going to ask you to think about what we talked about last week. Specifically, what is your technology strategy? And how is technology helping you to reach your business goals? Now, having a brand new phone may help you to reach your business goals. That's fine. And that, no problem. And it may not. It may not be an important part of what you're doing with your business. And it's easy to feel pressured into wanting something that we don't need. Now, for me, it's almost always technology. But it may actually be that latest training course, or it may be upgrading to a newer version of software than the one that you have currently. And a lot of times, it's not actually better. I like you to think about whether or not the upgraded version is going to help you meet your business goals and whether it's actually going to be that much better. I mean, I'm looking at the iPhone 10, looks like X, Roman numerals. I'm looking at the iPhone 10 and realizing for me to get the model that I would need is $1,149 US. That's a lot of money. And that's a lot of money that could be used for other things, for promotion, for marketing, for paying bills. And that's something that we tend not to think about in our quest for the new. So this week, one of the things I really want you to think about is going back to your technology strategy and thinking whether or not you're actually spending money on stuff, technology stuff, or even non-technology stuff that you don't really need. And if you don't need it, don't do it. It's that simple. And I think we tend to overthink it because we don't realize it's that simple. And I realized we live in lands of opportunity. We have, the great fortune of living in a way where we don't have to worry about safety and security. We have the luxury of thinking about, do I want the newest iPhone 8 or the iPhone 10, or, is my now old iPhone 7 still good enough? Am I going to upgrade my iWatch, my Apple Watch Series 1 to get a new Apple Watch Series 3? Maybe, but each of those are highly individual decisions. So you have my permission to completely ignore the whole thing. It doesn't have to be a match for you. And but for those of you who it is a match, investing wisely in technology can really propel your business forward. Now for me, what am I going to be doing? Yes, I will almost certainly be getting a new iPhone. I am on the fence right now. I need to do a little bit more digging, but I'm on the fence between getting an iPhone 8 or getting an iPhone 10. And I lean towards the 10 for a variety of reasons, but both are great phones. And for me, make sense. And they make sense for me because I work in technology, because I need to be exploring the latest and greatest things, which is one of the reasons why I'll probably spring for the iPhone 10. It has some additional hardware and software features that, as I look at the horizon of technology, are going to be important for me for investigating that future. But for most people who need to just get the day-to-day work done, it's probably overkill. And that's okay. I think about it like cars. Most people do not need to drive a Lamborghini, and because they're getting from point A to point B. Now, there's a whole range between, the ultra inexpensive cheap car, really nice cars, Lamborghinis, and where you fit on that scale varies from person to person. Now, in technology, I'm at the Lamborghini end because that's where I work as a technologist. You may be at the I need a basic sedan level, and I can work with you and help you all along the way because I'm at that Lamborghini level and know that full range. So you have to think about what's going to make sense for you. And that may be, a basic Chevy, it may be a BMW, it may be a Lamborghini. But that's going to be something that you have to evaluate with regards to your business strategy, your business goals, and your technology strategy. So, tips that I want to give you this week, because I want to make sure you always get something actionable out of these, is to consider, particularly since I know most of the people who subscribe to my Tech Happy Hour as bar regulars are Apple people. On Monday, we're going to start having access on Tuesday we get the new iOS 11 available to us. And the new operating system will run on all of the existing devices. So think about your upgrade strategy. One of the things that I highly suggest you do is Monday evening, make sure you do a full backup. And back up to iCloud, and consider backing up locally to a computer as well, because that way it'll make it easier in case, knock on wood, that nothing goes wrong. But in case something does go wrong, you want to make sure you have those backups available. So Monday, do all your backups. Starting on Tuesday, the new OSs will be available, and that'll be like getting a whole new phone, even through a free upgrade. So check that out before you make a decision and figure out whether or not you're going to be happy with just that new OS update or whether you need to invest in some new hardware. But make sure you're doing those backups before you do any sort of OS update, because this one's going to be a big one and it's going to be fairly time consuming. I would expect when it comes, it's probably going to be in the neighborhood of an hour or so to download and upgrade your phone. It might end up being longer. So this is going to be something you're going to want to make sure you prepare for appropriately and do those upgrades ahead of time so that you're ready when it's time to do the upgrades. The same holds true, by the way, if you're on Android or using any of the other operating systems. Always, 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 always do a full backup before you do any sort of major update like that. So there's your tip for this week. Make sure you're backed up and ready, because next Tuesday, the new free operating systems will be coming out for iPhone and iPad. So I gave you a little bit of hints on some of the iOS 11 features in previous videos. It's going to be an exciting update and one that I'm terribly looking forward to. And then the new hardware will come a little bit after that. So full details on the new iPhones in a separate video, which I've linked to on our Facebook page. And then you'll have all the details about the OSs next week. Thanks, everyone.